Today's guest is an artist by the name of Andy Franco. I'm honored to welcome him on the podcast and get to know him a bit today. Welcome to the 25th episode of the One Shot Effect podcast. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Felix, for having me.
Yeah, we got connected through Instagram, but I think, can you remember how we first knew of each other? I want to say through Logic's Discord.
Yeah, you're on the Discord, and we were able to connect through Instagram and Twitter and all the social media apps. So I'm glad we could stay connected that way.
Yeah, what has
And you're
been your
in,
experience with I suppose even the internet with music, but
yeah, I know that with starting in the 2010s, and we had the blog era, and so many artists on that come up: Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, and J. Cole, Lil Wayne, prolific, everybody just dropping mixtapes and promoting themselves on social media, connecting more with fans through that platform, and being able to have that one-on-one interaction with an artist. I love being able to see how artists connect with their fans and cultivate a that inclusivity, that anyone is welcome, all enjoyers of music, all from all walks of life. I love seeing that, and the kinds of communities that are built through that. So the Logic Discord, and being able to talk to people from all over the world, from all countries. You're in South Africa, right? Yeah, so it's so dope that I get to talk to you in this moment in time. So yeah, the power of the internet and social media, it's twofold. It has helped us connect and interact with each other. And then there's that other side. Sometimes it can bring isolation and feelings of sometimes worthlessness, or being overwhelmed, overstimulated by everything that's happening. So it's good to also strike that balance. Like when you mentioned you went on your hike, you get to experience the outside, and what really matters, like hearing the rustle of the leaves, or a bird on your hike, ocean waves. That's what really encapsulates life. All those little moments in between, away from all the craziness of social media.
it now I'm so curious. I was reading a bit on your website about your experience in a talent show when you were about 13. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's actually how I got started rapping. And it started off as I was doing we were going to do a skit with me and my friends. And it was, it was one of those, how middle schoolers come up with these funny and kind of obnoxious, little skits. And as a surprise at the end, I had done my first rap on stage, and it was totally unexpected. It went, I'm tying my shoes in the middle of the street. No one can stop me. I'm invincible to the naked eye. I'm a normal guy, but when a semi drives by, you can wave bye-bye. And I just rapped those lines and this whole school went wild. Oh my gosh. Even the teachers, they were surprised that I could do this. And, I didn't look too deeply into it at first, but then starting in high school and college, I became more of a writer, and that's what segued me into this art form of rap. I first got started through stand-up comedy and wanting to be like Mitch Hedberg or George Carlin. I love the way they use the English language and language itself to be storytellers, and to put a smile on someone's face, to make someone laugh. being able to make someone's day through this art form is such a blessing. And when I fell in love with hip hop and music, I saw that I was able to take those strengths of being a writer, something that my teachers had encouraged in me, that I excelled in school, and that I felt was an outlet that really saved my life, because I could create a world where I belong, and I could extend that sense of belonging to others who most need it, to those who are going through like their darkest times, to have a little light in their world during their day. And if even one song could be like the soundtrack to someone's like commute, or when they get home and they're just staring up at the ceiling, I love being able to cultivate that and to be a part of that. That's such a blessing, and I make sure to sharpen that every day.
And
But
like,
yeah, it did.
how much
It did.
time has gone towards like writing? I suppose that evolves, right? Like, you used to not take it the same way, or it was more even freestyling before that, or what's
Yeah,
that
I
kind
am
of
a
creative journey? I suppose is this discipline and showing up for yourself in that way.
yeah, I am a writer first and foremost. I have notebooks. I'm a handwriter, so yeah, I have like my notebook right here, and I love I love writing so much. It started in high school and middle school, and let's take it even before that, elementary school. I would write these short stories, and I was such a big fan of like Harry Potter that I actually wrote my own version of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I like hand wrote my own version, and it's kind of like Harry Potter, but with like funny events in between. So like my own spin on Harry Potter, but with like funny scenes and things like that. And in middle school, I also hand wrote a lot of like kind of chapter books, novels about about different characters. And starting in high school, I got really inspired by some authors like Jack Kerouac, On the Road, and Jim Carroll, The Basketball Diaries. How they were able to capture their youth and all these adventures on paper. Like Jack Kerouac type had a typewriter, and he typed like this massive scroll of On the Road with no breaks, stream of consciousness like all the way through. And that inspired me so much. So there was this one day in English class where there was a project, and we had to like story tell about our lives in some way, kind of like a short autobiography. And I had brought my diary that I had written in my sophomore year, 10th grade, which was one of my lowest years, because I was getting bad grades. I felt like I was disappointing my parents so much. And I had this outlet of basketball and writing, kind of like Jim Carroll in The Basketball Diaries. I love that movie so much that I wanted to be just like that. Especially in my younger years, I had a habit of wanting to be like the characters I look up to. Like Harry Potter, I wanted to be brave and wanted to be that kid that went on those adventures. I wanted to be like Peter Parker from Spider-Man, just a good upstanding citizen trying to do the right thing even when it's hard. And now when it came to writing, I wanted to be like Jim Carroll, a writer who played basketball, and I wrote about my everyday in school. And I read an entry from it about getting bad grades and feeling like a disappointment to my parents, and how that weighed heavy on me. And I broke down in class in front of everybody. But what the teacher did, I think the next day he gave me a book, a novel. It was The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And he had also given me like flyers to go to open mics. He really believed in me as a writer. And I didn't realize it back then, but that's what sparked in my mind the idea that I could use writing for good because it had helped me so much. Maybe I can use it to help others. So in senior year, I started listening to like stand-up comedians like Mitch Hedberg, George Carlin, and Brian Regan, and
Have you ever
and
heard of Bo
all the
Burnham?
classics. Yeah,
I
Bo
don't mean to
Burnham.
interrupt you, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's all good. But yeah, all the classics. But I would listen to Mitch the most. He made me like crack up so hard, and his way of being able to see everyday things and turn them into into comedy. It was groundbreaking, and I also wanted to do that on stage. So I had my joke books. I would handwrite in them, and I performed at open mics doing stand-up comedy all around all around Sacramento. And I had this dream that I was going to take my Nissan Sentra across America and do a stand-up comedy open mic tour. But I was like, I got to finish school first, got to get my degree, and I ended up getting my bachelor's in English. And also during university is when I fell more in love with hip hop. I'll never forget being in the library and hearing. It's so funny. My first like real introduction to hip hop and falling in love with it was listening to Daniel Radcliffe rap the alphabet aerobics by Black Delicious on Jimmy Fallon. And then I was like, whoa. So I remembered that my parents would have like a mixtape CD that they'd play on road trips. And one of the songs on there, I didn't know it at the time, but one of them was Eminem Without Me. And then when I found out, oh, Eminem did that song, that's Eminem. And then the first song that got me hooked was Rap God. I listened to that over and over and over. And I loved what stood out to me was the way he used like vocabulary, like academic vocabulary, like utilize or and things like that. That got me hooked. And then I started listening a lot to him. I went down the rabbit hole with him. He was my first like artist I really got into, and that was the gateway for me to rap. And then I started writing rhymes and performing them for my club in college, Circle K International Community Service Organization, and they would have these banquet nights, and I'd perform at them and at any workshop I could. So that's what set me on that path to being an artist, and in hip hop especially. But I love all mediums of art. I love doing animation and filmmaking, writing. So I'm glad I have the opportunity and the privilege to do all these different things, to be able to cultivate my skills in them each day, and to meet so many people and artists who can also create in different mediums, like you and podcasting and your videos and freestyles too. That's so dope that we get to express ourselves that this way and convey the stories that led up to that and beyond.
100%. I think the biggest one exactly is like to not limit yourself, and exactly what you're saying, like to be an artist, to be a musician is like there's music videos, there's this, there's that, there's no limitation, right? And now with the internet and technology makes it even more vast. But yeah, that's even a good question for you. Like, how has that journey of expressing yourself been? I mean, I think I saw on your YouTube channel the oldest thing was like 7 years ago. But yeah, where how has it started? How has it evolved? And I was even curious, like those first performances, like how long were they? Were there like a song? Like what was the enthusiasm like? And like what was the like memorization like? You know what I mean?
Yeah, most of the standard open mics are like 5 minutes, like a 5 minute slot. When I got started with stand up comedy, that was usually the time frame, and that would also be the time frame for other performers. So whether you're doing like, I love listening to spoken word and poetry slams. That's what also helped me gravitate toward hip hop. There's this artist named Natachi Mez, shout out Natachi, from my high school, and we had connected in Sacramento and went to an open mic together. So I did, in the beginning, I did a cappella verses. So I would rap my verse and that'd be it. And then as time went on, I included the instrumental, and there have been quite a few times where like I've choked, I've paused and forgotten my lyrics. And that was one of my biggest fears going up on stage. Like if I mess up a lyric, if I forget to say something or cover something like in my intro. And yeah, there have been quite a few times where I've frozen like that, but I picked it up, I kept on going. The show must go on and show that I can persevere through it, because we all run into those hardships. Sometimes they're unexpected, but being able to make magic out of even your mistakes, I feel that's more inspiring, more captivating, especially to someone who's nervous. So if someone's going after me and they feel a little hesitant and nervous, maybe seeing me bounce back from a mistake could help them. And I want to stay in that mindset. Over time, I've learned to trust myself. Like I'll be saying lyrics out loud to myself in the shower, or out walking, or whenever. And I say them so much that it becomes ingrained into me. Kind of like when you know an instrument so well that you don't even have to think about it. It's like the back of your hand, and you can pull it out at any given moment, whether to freestyle in a cipher or to perform on stage. I just tell myself like, you got this, you know this. If you mess up, just keep going. You know, more than likely, no one will notice if you don't like notice or make a or like draw attention to it. So just keep going, and you know, there's beauty in mistakes. Like Robin Williams said, mistakes, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. And it makes it more human. Any flaws, that's what makes a live performance so fun. Anything can happen, but it can lead to new art, things that you might not have considered or discovered before. And that's what makes it such a unique experience, that live performance space. And I want to shout out all the open mics in Sacramento, a seat at the table, open mic, for being inclusive and accepting. Usually the open mic crowds, they're they're very accepting, and they know that sometimes it's people's first time performing or trying out something new, taking a risk, a creative, going into a new creative or artistic genre. And when I see the people who come up with their acoustic guitars, mostly at like coffee shop open mics, for me, my next goal is to be able to learn how to play guitar so I can do like an unplugged or acoustic version of a song. So, but I'm grateful to be here on this journey and where I am now. It just keeps evolving, and every day every day is a fresh slate. You never know what's going to go on that page and what will come out of it.
True. Yeah, it's so cool that you had the like exposure to open mics. Like it, yeah, it does make me think. Like obviously, not every area has them, or every area has different open mics. Sounds like a cool community, and even a ability to connect to like-minded artists, I suppose.
Yeah, the open mic space. I love it when I get to see stand-up comedians because that's how I got my start, and people who have the courage to go up there and like be vulnerable. This is
Hmm.
they are like giving a piece of their soul to us on that stage. So I'm always supportive no matter what. I make sure to hype up, my local artists and the people around me because it's
Hmm.
people like that who kept me going when
Facts.
when I felt like I wasn't good enough or when I felt like my music wasn't good enough. They they're the ones who enjoyed it and they're the ones who got me to see that spaces like these are so sacred. And so I always make sure to support, buy like a drink or a book afterwards. I love being able to collect physical media. I love vinyl and books, games. So being able to have a piece of something like a CD or a sticker from someone that's rare, and having that with me, being surrounded by my inspirations, I get to discover like new artists in in Sacramento, and I've done open mics in Salinas, Monterey, Los Angeles. So I get to bring them with me and keep them a part of me. So when we meet later down the road, like I'll know more about their music and their story, and it's such a I'm grateful that I get to be a part of that journey, their journey too. So those open mics, I want to continue to elevate them and support them, continue to perform at them, keep going until you perform at 100 shows, 200 shows, until this becomes as easy as breathing air, so that
Hmm.
when I manifest being able to perform in front of a sold out room or
That you're like
in like a
ready for that amount of energy and like know how to move it, and I think it's all part of the journey in that sense.
yeah, being able to interact with an audience and give them the experience of a lifetime, even if it's just like 10 people in the crowd. Those are people who came to see artists and to support them. So I don't take that for granted. So no matter how many people are in the room, I treat it like I'm at Madison Square Garden, and I want to give them an experience that they won't forget and that they get to take with them too, to inspire them to reach greater heights that they hadn't that they hadn't visualized before.
Yeah, super inspiring, man. I love your energy. Super positive and grateful. And like I think
Thank
you
you.
really understand that like music is community and exactly like open mics is community. That's definitely what it's about.
Yeah, I love that. I love how people can belong to different spaces and different communities, express their different identities, and be able to have that space is it really is amazing, because there are some places where expressing yourself or being yourself can be dangerous. It can be life
Mm.
threatening. And there are people who have to. I always remember this story of I was in marching band in high school, and like symphonic wind ensemble, like the orchestra. And there was a story of a student who had to practice their trumpet into their pillow because their family didn't like all the noise. So even stories like that where people had to create like in secret or like keep it to themselves for a while, and then to be able to go on stage and share that with total strangers and then have them like clap for you, say you got this, encouraging you to go on, being your cheerleaders when no one else was. That's what makes the open mics such a such a space that fosters this community. And that's the community I want to build with my fans, the Fuego fam, and with with those that take the time out of their day to listen to my music or to watch a video. You know, no one owes me that. So for them to actively listen to me and give me the time of day, even if it's just one person, that's what makes it all worth it.
And if someone like stumbles upon you, it's like the iceberg of you. Like, what's that top part? And like, what are the different layers? If that makes sense, it's probably like different pieces of music work, or like even like the journey of how you would ideally want someone to discover you. When obviously there's no perfect way. Like even me, I go to your YouTube. Cool, let me go oldest. Boom. There's so many different
Yeah,
ways to
I love that
experience the art,
question.
but it's also fun to jump between the ones and like see the journey. And but if you had to like, what is that Andy Franco iceberg?
Yeah, the iceberg. I love that question. And I love I love watching those like iceberg videos, like, and the deeper you get. The top of the iceberg is Andy Franco, my my name, my artist name. I'd gone back and forth about what my artist name or stage name should be. And I've come up with a few alter egos, like when doing when producing and doing beats, I'm Filthy Franco. And originally my artist name was Andy with the ampersand sign and a Y. So like Andy. But sometimes that wouldn't like translate to some web pages, or the ampersand wouldn't be present because it's like a special character. It would mess with like the HTML or something. So I made the decision to use Andy Franco as my artist name because it was a journey to to get that name. Originally I was born a Rolando. Yeah, Rolando. And in the eighth grade, I'd gotten my name changed officially to Andy Franco. My birth name is Rolando, but in my childhood and ever since then, people have called me Andy,
Why was it
and
like
I'd
such
gotten
a
it.
big like why did you want to change it?
Oh, I have a theory. I was born Rolando, but my grandma, my Lula, I think she named me. She's the one who named me Andy. I have a theory it might be because of Toy Story, because I was born in 1995 and Toy Story had come out in November of that year. And it did become my favorite movie in my childhood. Like I had I
Have you
had my
seen your
own
toys
Woody
move?
Buzz. Yeah.
Have you?
What's funny is I remember coming back from the store and my Woody was in the trunk and my dad would say, "Oh, did Woody move? Did he move positions?" But yeah, I loved Toy Story growing up, and like Andy, when I would hear his name in the movie, I was like, that's me. But yeah, in eighth grade, my dad had officially adopted me, and that's when I got the name change to Andy Franco. And in high school, sometimes people would call me Franco, like especially in marching band. They say, "Hey Franco," and so I embraced that name, Andy Franco, and what it means to me, that name change, being officially a Franco, because my dad had raised me to be the man that I am today. And he had done so much for our family and my mom that I want to represent that name and and carry it with me, do good things with it. And so Andy Franco, it just felt right as an artist name.
Makes me
And
think
so,
of James Franco.
yeah, that's funny
There's a really good
because,
song, James Franco by Hoodie Allen. Funny video
oh yeah,
too. You
that's
know
right.
Hoodie
That's
Allen?
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he also came up during the blog era too.
Facts.
But yeah, I love what was it, Lady Killers with G Easy and
True.
Hoodie Allen.
Yeah, actually, I got to see G-Eazy live here in Cape Town. That
Oh,
was pretty cool.
oh no, wait,
He
yeah,
kind
that's
of
right. He's
was
on
starting
his.
to look like Charlie Sheen, though. He's getting that age, bro.
Uh, yeah, I love
I mean,
G. Shout out G,
imagine the
man.
life he's had, though, bro. The late nights he's had. Like, that's got
Yeah,
to
when
take
it's
a
dark
toll on your
out.
body. Like you got to taking like self care as an artist is insane. Like, especially as it's more and more people's energy that you're like interacting with. I don't know how you see that, but yeah, we still gotta go through the iceberg. Didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah.
Yeah, I love G Easy. I'm actually seeing him in Sacramento. What's crazy is he did the world tour, right? And he came to Cape Town, and now I believe he's about to go on another tour for his new album Helium, and he's coming to Sacramento. And I got the meet and greet, so I'm going to meet him for the first time, shake his
Hey,
hand, let him know
sheesh.
how much his music has helped me. And yeah, but to be able to like go on like back to back tours, that's grueling. And I respect him for being able to do that and to see his fans. I feel like he's in a better place now from the interviews I've seen and the music he's making. So I'm happy for him for that. But yeah, I made the conscious decision to make my artist name Andy Franco so that it was easier for people to find me rather than saying, oh, my artist name is Andy, but it's spelled like with an ampersand and a Y. That's still my logo though. It's like the treble clef and a Y in cursive. So I I maintain some of that legacy of the Andy era, the ANY era in the logo, in
Funny
my
how we
music
get
logo.
attached to things,
Yeah,
logos,
I like to.
names, but it's also like a journey of like, are you hiding or are you like showing up authentically as yourself, right? So it's a balance, like you
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Sometimes a name can become a brand, and sometimes it can, like when Mos Def retired his name and became Yasin Bey, or The Weeknd retiring his stage name and just wanting to go by Abel. It's what speaks to your heart at the time, what's more authentic, and yeah, what you are more attached to or connected with. I try to bring each step of the journey with me because it's all like a catalog of experience, and my listeners and my fans and my friends get to grow with me and see that journey. But yeah, Andy Franco's at the top of that iceberg. It makes it easier to find me and to announce it at open mics. And I feel I feel really connected with this name because it was a journey to get this name, to be established as it. I've had a few other ideas for like an artist name, but I save them for like alter egos when doing different genres of music. So Lil Remy for like the rage and the trap inspired music. I've also had like a AF Liddy. I was debating whether to change that officially to my artist name, but I've kept Andy Franco and stuck with it. And you know what's in a name? It's it's what I represent, and that's how I came up with my brand, Fuego AF. AF are my initials, and with that came the what Fuego AF stands for. It's foster unity, empathy, and grace, often, always, and forever. So those initials, AF and Andy Franco, also mean always and forever to me. So yeah, I embrace this name on that tip of the iceberg right there. Now when you go lower, a little bit lower into the iceberg, I have done like videos and animations on another YouTube channel, Hermosia 32. I was really into animation. In high school, there was an animation class by Mr. Clark. Shout out Mr. Clark. And he did like an animation and video class. So I really got into animation. Now when I watch movies, I love seeing animated movies. The things like the Wild Robot this past year, and I believe it
Have you
was
heard of Sassy the Sasquatch?
Sassy the Sasquatch. I need to check that out. Let
That's
me
like a
write that one down.
character, but I forget like the show's name, but it's like a YouTube show. And I'm pretty sure like it was
Oh,
created on
YouTube.
like Microsoft Paint or something. But it's like an animated show.
Oh,
It's kind
that's
of like your Rick
epic.
and Morty vibes, South Park vibes, but by like this Australian guy. Super good. It's like one of the most beloved YouTube shows. It's really
Oh,
good.
damn. Yeah, I love when there's like a YouTube series, and back in the day, like Rooster Teeth and their
Have you,
shorts,
have you ever heard
like
of you've heard of
RWBY.
Key and Peele and then
Yeah, Key
Video
and
Game High School or something? I don't know.
Oh, did they
I feel
create
like you
that?
would have liked that one. They had like really crazy like effects. It was really like that was a really impressive show as well. I even should watch that one again. Video Game High School or something. Like
Video
it was
Game
some of
High
the first
School.
like YouTubers who were like they had like the budget for it and like the timing was really good.
Oh wow, yeah, I love animation as an art form, and how hard the animators and storyboarders, writers, they have a whole team that brings their vision to life, and I love being able to see it continue to thrive. One of my friends, his name is Irvin, and he does 3D animation, and every day on his Instagram story he'll post like a snippet of an animation reel or a still, and that inspires me every day. So I love seeing animation being like making a comeback each day into art.
Have
And
you done a animated music video yet?
ooh, I've I've worked with a couple people who have done animated lyric videos for me, and I love seeing how like they interpret putting their vision to my music, how they visualize it. I would love to do to be able to do that one day. I've done animations for my college club, Circle K International, like little promos and advertisements for events here and there. I would go into Photoshop and I would do it the old school way, like draw a frame and then save it as a JPEG and then change it a little and then keep going like that. It was like thousands of frames for like maybe 10 seconds. But
Meditation right there, bro.
yeah, I don't know how the stop motion animators do it though without going insane. But that's why I respect it so much. And it's another medium that I get to also open my creativity to. because it's something that I grew up with too, and that continues to be a part of my daily life. So yeah, I would love to do like a short animated film one day, or to
Even
do it for my music too.
have you seen those draw my life videos? But I guess like more like
Yeah,
even
yeah,
an animate my life type
yeah. I just love seeing so
creation.
many different art styles and ways that people can story tell through animation. Like I love Samurai Jack, and I love the animated Spider-Man show, Spectacular Spider-Man, and now recently My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I love that there's a Looney Tunes in theaters right now. I want to see that so bad. I've heard so many good things about it. But yeah, on my other YouTube channel, I did animations, and yeah, that's that part of the iceberg.
How consistent were you with the like animations and like the music and like their journeys of consistency? And like, is it mainly the two YouTube channels?
Yeah, I started with animation. I mostly posted the projects that I did in class on my YouTube channel, and then I used that strength as a technology chair in my the community service organization I was a part of, Circle K International. It's like the college version of like Key Club and Kiwanis. They're also community service international organizations. And as technology chair, I was in charge of like creating the website and doing like graphics to to promote service events and
Your
socials.
website is really good, by the way. But go on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I'd worked with someone on it. Someone helped me do like the WordPress and the coding for it, and they showed me how to edit it so I can make changes as it goes on. So, yeah, I do want to get more into learning how to code and being able to have that skill set. But yeah, yeah, I did start with animation, and my YouTube was just like these short animated shorts. And then around like 2017, that's when I posted my first like rap song on my channel. I'd done like songs for Circle K, and I think they're still on the channel. I think that's the middle of the iceberg too. But if you search them up, you can go back and see how my
What is
first raps
Circle
were.
K? It sounds like a shop. Sounds like a
Yeah, people
like
confuse it with the gas station Circle K. But Circle K International, it's a community service organization, an international organization, and you'll usually find them, Circle K International, usually find them on a college campuses because it is a university based organization, Circle K is. So yeah, it's like like your extracurricular, your club that I was a part of. And then I met my closest friends and my fiance in. So that's where, I was also creating
you
for them.
animated with them or you like rapped with them or website?
Yeah, I did both. As technology chair, I did like animation videos or like promo videos. And that's also where I got my start rapping and just rapping as much as I could. Sometimes I felt I was being annoying how much I was rapping or putting a rhyme in a post because I wanted
Yeah.
people to think like I was this awesome rapper. But then I learned like to just be like I'm just a normal guy, and being able to rap and create, it doesn't make me like better or worse than anybody else. You know, I still have my flaws and my my shortcomings. So I shouldn't let like I shouldn't use rapping to make people like me or make me feel like I'm worth it. I should use it for good, to help elevate others, to bring awareness to a topic, to storytell about my experiences and my come up, things that only I could like convey, my story. So
What has
I
been the
started
journey
to,
of like subject matter? Not to interrupt you, but if you can finish what
oh
you're
yeah,
saying as well.
yeah, subject matter. Originally, when I was first starting, I was listening to a lot of Eminem, and I wanted to be like the the rapper that had like these intricate rhyme schemes and was like rhyming almost every other word, rhyming sentences. I love rhyming. Even to this day, that's what I love the most doing when rapping, being able to not only rhyme but also to have a like a story that you could follow when rhyming, and being able to do it in rhyme. That's the real challenge. So that journey of starting to open up more about my life and to be vulnerable, to show that, you know, I'm not a perfect person, and even though I do my best to be positive and to be accepting, there I rap about times where, you know, I've let people down and how much that has weighed on me. So the subject matter became more authentic, more introspective. Times where I've gotten angry, where I've been like in the darkest places, but how people have helped me out of that, how I've reflected and been able to take some positives out of that experience. And yeah, I know rap is such a it's about projecting confidence, living and breathing confidence, conviction, and being assured. And part of that authenticity is being able to show those other sides of yourself that exist, like the side that messes up. And that's why I love like Kid Cudi, being able to bare your soul like that and be honest and candid about it. That's that's so important to me. And I've also had a lot of fun with music, being able to make something that you could dance to or bop your head to, something for the party. When I was writing some tracks back in like 2022, I was listening to a lot of like Jack Harlow, and I loved how much he had fun with his music and in his videos, just being himself and dancing and having that like smooth flow. And you know, I talked about new topics that I hadn't talked about before, like just having that fun attitude toward music, and that turn up side, and then being able to weave in that introspective side. That's what makes it so exhilarating to me.
Do you feel like you limit yourself creatively in any ways?
Ooh, I like
I
that
mean,
one.
limitations are a funny thing, right? Like we need some, right?
Yeah, it's like those, like with structures and conventions, like with the sonnet, like is that a limitation, or does that push you to come up with something that you couldn't in any other form? Yeah, that's a good question.
And what's been like your journey with like freestyling and like music, or I don't know.
Yeah, being like freestyling in general. Let me see. I
Yeah,
feel,
and I guess like balancing it with writing, or yeah.
yeah, I feel like I limit myself when I'm not open to other music or other genres. I do listen to a lot of hip hop and rap on the daily
We should definitely talk
because,
some artists for sure.
yeah, for sure. Well, my number one is Logic because
Shout out.
he, yeah, Bobby
Peace,
got
love,
me
and
to,
positivity. His
yeah,
most famous
PLP.
song is a suicide prevention song. Like you can't like do that on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
In a way.
one of a kind, once in a generation. I remember when it came out back in 2017, and I'd become a fan like a few months before that, listening to the Young Sinatra mixtapes, and my first song was 5 a.m. and
Damn, that's a good
just,
first song, bro.
yeah, and hearing that you can do music like that, like you can make it catchy and also have like a meaning to it. There's something for everybody.
Hmm.
And Logic really got me to fall in love with music, like the musicality and the the production, the beats, the smallest details in a song.
Samples,
Yeah, samples and like
musical
having,
journeys, right?
yeah, and in
The
a song like
lore.
having like, yeah, especially that. So I didn't want to close myself off to the musicality because at first I was just lyrics. I'd find a hot beat and be the lyricist, be the writer to that, rhymes and song structure, verses. But as I fell more in love with hip hop and rap, I saw like the instrumentation, the arrangement, the production, and the musicality. So I used some of my experiences from high school, being in marching band and the symphonic, the wind ensemble, even how instruments are panned in a track, and how to like arrange and mix. I also learned how to do that and grow an appreciation for. And so I love being able to storytell just through beats as Filthy Franco. And yeah, the only time I feel like I limit myself is if I'm not open to music itself, because there's so many different branches and genres that that I can include and that I can give shine to. So
What's been your like journey with collaborating?
Oh yeah, I just recently collaborated with Abby Tarantino. She's also in the Logic Discord, and she did a feature for one of my songs, Full Send. I've also had the honor of having a feature from Seth Such, an artist from Texas. And I've also had on my debut mixtape, Boy with a Dream, I had my roommate. He goes by the name Sanahara, and he featured on one of my songs. So I've had a few features from my friends or with artists in like communities that I'm part of. So like the Logic Discord. And yeah, my next goal is to be able to really collaborate with someone on a beat and build it from scratch with them. Mostly I've purchased license for beats, or I've made them myself from loops and sampling. So I'd really love to work with a producer and build that relationship. And just like when I trust others with my vision, I also want to see them put their vision and their story into it too, so it can coexist and like synergy create something that's greater than the sum of their parts.
You've heard of Hit
And
Dog, the producer, right?
oh yeah, yeah.
He's really cool. And then my cousin goes by the name Kenzo Custa. He actually also
Oh, that's
produces too,
dope.
but I know we're a little bit far, but could also put you guys in contact. Just
Oh yeah, I'd
contact.
love that. Yeah, thank you.
He makes quite experimental music, I would say. um, like he's quite inspired by. Have you heard of Yeet?
Oh yeah, Yeet. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Shout out Yeet.
it's different, but it's cool. Uh, yeah. Jack Harlow is really cool as well. Yeah, one of his songs actually
Mm.
references Cape Town. Fun fact.
Oh snap. Oh, that's
Or he
cool.
references like seeing a girl from Cape Town or something.
Oh, from Cape Town.
It's funny, like it's so funny to hear my city in like songs. Like,
Oh yeah,
do you
on
know the
Way Out.
rapper
That's right.
Hobson?
That's right.
Hobson?
Oh yeah, Hobson. Yeah, I remember. I'd
Him and
researched
I
like,
actually share a birthday, but he actually also referenced Cape Town in a song. And then
oh
Central
snap.
C. I think Central C's
Oh no
lyric was
way.
driving, roof down, rooftop, I'm a piano, something like that in Cape Town. But yeah,
Cape Town. Yeah,
random.
I love how
But
your city's getting so much love.
facts, yeah, it's a really interesting city. Like it's very beautiful, but it's also like we're quite far from the world, which is obviously good and bad. But then it's also like, yeah, now we got like a big, like more digital nomads and stuff, and just people coming, which like has positives and negatives, and like it has its costs, like each like tourist or each person. But it's like the money just needs to be reinvested. But like, yeah, our government is interesting, and money goes funny places. But nonetheless, I guess it is good. Like it's all like good, like the like development and stuff. But yeah, where have you lived, and do you have like a military history of sorts, family wise, or?
Yeah, yeah. My dad was in the Navy, so I was a Navy brat. I got the privilege to travel around the world. I've lived in Japan, Yokosuka, Japan, and then he got stationed in Lemoore Naval Air Station in California, in the Santa Queen Valley.
Like,
I was
how
born.
old were you
Oh,
then, if like in Japan? Like do you have memories
yeah,
of Japan?
I do. I do have very vivid memories of Japan. I wish I could have appreciated it more. Like I'm super into to anime and manga, and I remember in Japan they would have like this Pokemon bread, It was like a pastry. Sometimes it would have the character printed on it, and it would come like with like a kind of like a holographic Pokemon sticker.
Wow,
And
the
so I don't see
original
that. I
NFT,
don't.
bro.
I know. I don't really see that too much here in the U.S. So that was unique to see in Japan. And I was in second grade, so around 7 or 8 years old when I came to Japan. And then after fourth grade, when I was 10, we had flown back to Virginia. I was born in Virginia Beach on the East Coast. And then my dad had driven us cross country from Virginia all the way to California. So through like Tennessee and Arkansas, Texas, New
How long would
Mexico,
that
Arizona.
take?
Ooh, I think that took like a solid week. Yeah,
Whoa,
because,
America is
yeah,
so big. Oh my days.
I know. Yeah, I had my little brother and my mom, so we would stop at like motels and hotels along the way. What's funny is we came to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, and my uncle happened to be there too. Like it was, he said, "Andy, is that you?" I had my Game Boy with Harry Potter on, and he recognized me because I was wearing like a fanny pack I had bought in Virginia, a JanSport little pouch, and he recognized me through that. So that was funny. But we finally came to Lemoore. Shout out Lemoore. It's a small town, and that's where I met like my first good friends. Shout out Alec and Cody. And Lemoore, eighth grade, that's when I did my first rap ever. And then we moved to Sacramento, Elk Grove, where my dad retired from the Navy. And then he worked as a radiologist at the clinic at the Sutter. And my mom is a licensed vocational nurse, an LVN at a skilled nursing facility. So I respect them so much and love them very much for raising me and for continuing to support me with my music. That's so rare to have your family be so supportive and to encourage you. Like they check in when I visit, like, how's your YouTube channel going? Or, oh, I saw your video was doing really well. And going back to the subject matter question, I rap a lot more about family and my Filipino history. I remember in eighth grade, I got a gift from my Ate Isa, my cousin. She had hand painted a Filipino flag with the initials AF on it. And that's why I embraced the name Andy Franco so much and like AF. And she said to always be proud of your heritage, being Filipino. And some of my recent songs, like 93 Till Infinity, my lolo, my grandpa, had just turned 93 years old this year. And it was always an idea that I had to do. So I rap a lot about family. My lolo was also a writer. He type wrote like books about his life. And that's where I read those so much. And then I made a song like as a tribute to those books, Lolo song. And I rap a lot about family, about his life. His dad was the mayor of Ormoc Bay during World War II. So when the Japanese had invaded the Philippine Islands in Ormoc Bay, he was the mayor, the leader during that time. And so I got to learn a piece of my history too. Like my great grandfather was a mayor of a city in the Philippines. And so I continue to learn more about the Philippines, try to learn like more Tagalog, more Bisaya, the local dialects and the language, and also integrate it into my music. And Yeah, there's a lot of amazing Filipino artists out there, like Easy Mill. I love when he raps in Tagalog in his music. And yeah, Sacramento, the 916 is where I grew up starting in high school, and I rep it so much. You know, like how rappers will rep their hometown. And but I get to bring all these other places with me, Virginia Beach, Japan. When I went to teacher credential school in LA and Northridge, when I got my first teaching job in Salinas, Monterey, and then finally coming back full circle to Sacramento to be closer with my family and my roots, and then start to build a name for myself out here where I came from. So going to those open mics and supporting the artists starting at the home base and then gradually like going out into the world. That's where the next part of my journey is.
Sounds like those open mics were really formative, but I mean, it's just very representational. But it's also just like, I wonder in some ways if was it like easier, like they weren't in your home like town city, right? So it was like, but it was more like like would you go with people? Would you like eventually be meeting people through these things? Like, was it consistent? Yeah.
Yeah, I would. When I was in LA, it was just me, so I would go to like their open mic at the university, and in Salinas, I asked some of my coworkers or my friends to go, and they came with me. My fiance would come with me to to support me, and she would film like the videos on my GoPro. And her sister and her daughter also made it out. So I'm glad I could have that support and and continue to be to be a part of their lives too, as much as they're there for me. And yeah, my fiance still comes with me to open mics, and I'm glad I get to share that with her as well. And yeah, she's helped me a lot with filming my videos on my YouTube channel, and being my rock when I get like anxiety about my music, or when I get like perfectionist about it. I'll sometimes like get into like a panic attack, like over the smallest things, like if a vocal is too loud, if I didn't mix something properly, or if I feel like I sang off key or off pitch. And she helps ground myself, and then I remember, oh yeah, mistakes, that's the good stuff, because that's the humanity of it, of the music. So seeing that humanity at open mics, it's authentic. It really, it really is a piece of the soul that people are giving. So yeah, I always make sure to actively listen to their story, and never try to put down or make the spotlight all about me. I want to raise up and I want to raise up and give people their time to shine, so that
100%.
when it's my turn, I can go into it with good intentions and a good heart.
Facts. Yeah, sounds like you have a really beautiful relationship as well. Really happy to hear that. That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me even think of like Logic and his like relationship and his like album Supermarket, and well, I guess it was more of a soundtrack and a book. But I mean, even that, so creative, so cool.
Yeah, that was a real like creative risk, and being able to do that at that level, it speaks to people, and like the real ones know. And you never know who it can inspire. It could be
Mm,
someone's favorite album, and they could get more into indie music. It could be their gateway into that conversation. So
mm,
no matter what, even if you have like an image to uphold, or like you're part of a genre, and people will say, "Oh, you can only do this. You only know how to rap, so you should be a rapper." But being able to break out of that mold, honoring your genre, and then really learning about other genres and how they came to be, their origins, how they've evolved, and then being able to be a part of that. You never know what could happen.
mm.
So yeah, always, like like we discussed, always be open, and don't limit yourself to what people tell you to do.
Mm. Is there any way you could see yourself being even more experimental creatively, or like is there like a current strategy to a sense of like how you promote your music, or even I guess how you create your music and like the type of music you're creating? It's like, yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right now I'm working on my debut album, Fresh Fellas, like a being a freshman in the game. And I dropped a companion EP called A, and it has kind of like an autumn theme on the cover. And I wrote all the hooks for that little EP. And then with the album, it's continuing with that theme of autumn and fall, and like trees lose their leaves. So we all go through loss and grief, and then coming back even stronger and more vibrant in the spring. So I do want to release it around springtime, beginning of summertime. So far, I've been thinking about ways to like express the helping people discover the music. So, usually you'll post the cover art and like announce a single, or show like snippets of you working on a song. I want to do that more, and be more, informal about it. Being able to just record it on a phone. And sometimes my perfectionist side will step in, like, I gotta color correct this. I gotta make sure this is all well framed and composed. So it's been a journey for me to step into that that mindset. You could just record a little something and post it as like a Instagram story, or
Yeah.
just a fun little TikTok. It doesn't have to be this masterpiece, because people don't share perfection. They share what they resonate with, something that made them laugh, or something they relate with. So I do want to do more of that when promoting my music, and when when helping people discover me. I feel like our favorite artists, we discover them organically. Like we just happen upon them, or word of mouth. So I just try to create as much as I can, and try to get better and better at the craft of music, so that, and just keep putting things out. And then with that, get better at the promotion side of it. But yeah, first and foremost, a love, an unbridled love for the art form, being a student of the game, and paying respects to those who have brought up the genre, those who have paved the way, and being able to take it to the like plateau, the next frontier.
Facts. Um, yeah, what do you think of short form video and what do you think of live streaming?
Ooh, I love how when a short form video can be like its own story, like another form of
Mm.
storytelling.
Yeah, I think that's better than like a clip. Or go watch the longer one. Like there's a different audience, and I think understanding that, like even understanding to the point there's people who won't watch your full music video, but like you could even have a mini music video in a way, which is kind of what even a clip could kind of be. But yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I love going to like different locations. Like I was in the Bay in San Francisco recently, and being able to like film in different locations or spitting a verse in another place. And so
Mm.
yeah, I like how short form gives you that opportunity to
Tap
like,
into a place even.
yeah, kind of like doing things like in media res, like dropping you right into the moment because our current culture is like it's very quick and like instant gratification. So our attention spans have gone down, and we want something like right away. So it is a balance.
Mm.
I
And
like
like consistency, like you know what I mean, like the rigidity of it all. Like even like for me, like one thing that's been quite big for me is like at one point I was posting like a daily short video like every day for like about 4 years here and there. But it's like
oh,
imagine if you
respect.
did that like musically as a challenge. But it's more about the consistency of like the showing up, whether it's recorded or not and posted is a different thing. But like I relate to you from the other side. It's more like I've like done a lot of like consistency and like small things, but it's like exactly like you building that album, building that narrative, like being consistent in like a big way, and like that commitment is like these are my words. Like that's something I struggle with personally, as like freestyling resonates more, or it's more exciting for me, I suppose, because I don't even know what I'm gonna say. But then it's also like it brings you back to like rhyming is like a mantra, and like rhyming is just like such a memory tool. I mean, like in schools, it's nursery rhymes. Like there's just something so important that, and like even when you say it, like yeah, even like your music you're repeating, it's like a mantra. Like you're manifesting your own life for yourself, and I think that's what it's like. It's always crazy when like an artist, let's say, gets famous for like a depressing song, but like then they're gonna be singing that for like a long, like every day, for like. But I mean, it's balances and boundaries as well, I guess.
Yeah, you make a phenomenal point about the showing up. That's what matters the most. Even if people don't get to see it, you show up for you and for the passions that you have, the goals that you're pursuing. It's like that conversation that you have with those goals, like saying, I'm continuing to pursue these things. No one can take that away from you. And so, yeah, that showing up, even, showing up for being there for your friends, showing up for family, showing up for the hard days at work. That's something I've struggled with too, being able to have that attendance for those who are depending on you, but also for you too, for yourself, having time for you and for the things that you love, no matter what anyone says.
There's
But
so
yeah,
many like
the
so many things we can talk about. It's such a funny dance of like where to go next. But I think you were still talking actually.
yeah, yeah, the so any medium like short form video or long form video, I like being able to delve into those different mediums because there's like kind of different ways you can structure it, like having the hook right away on a short form video, like a call, having a call to action. So you get to really experiment too, see what works and what resonates more. It's also a fun way to do like different series.
But like you'd say maybe like more like an album kind of like duration resonates more with you in a way. That's just like the depth of storyline that you can kind of reach. And like, do you see your albums getting longer and longer? Do you like how do you balance like duration or just like depth of stories, or like I mean, like this upcoming one, like it sounds quite specific in a way, or like the certain parameters, like oh, this is like that time frame, or like this physical location, or
Yeah, my first mixtape, it was the first time I did like a long form project, and that clocked in around like an hour and 14 minutes, 18 tracks. But some of the tracks were like 7.5 minutes or more long form tracks. And with this next album, I'm having 12 tracks, a solid, clean cut, like 12 tracks, no filler, just straight straight raps and having a theme, the theme of autumn and fall, like saying goodbye to autumn and and greeting this new journey springing forth into music officially as my first like debut album that I'm putting out. And so I really like when for an album you really have to sit with it. You have to let it like permeate into your life. And those moments in between, like when you're driving and it hits like during a sunset, or when you're with like a loved one or a good friend and associating those memories with them. I feel like an album really lives with you and can hit you at any moment. Like, oh, that's what this is about. Or like, I never noticed that before. So yeah, with short form videos, it gives you that instant that instant rush right away. Whether that's a laugh that you really needed because you're having a down day, something that is accessible really quick. With the album, it's something that you live with, and that helps you get through things. You know, when we think
so
of
it's all
our
it's like quite a lot for yourself in a way.
yeah, because people grow with albums. They'll remember like when a certain album came out or dropped, and then how it got them through some dark points or some hard times, and that sticks with them more. So being able to craft an album is a special experience, even if people see it like on the decline with our current music culture of playlisting and like
A single a
reviewing an
week
album.
Rust type style,
Yeah.
or 2 3 minute songs, Jack Harlow, Central C style. Maybe less
Yeah, I
Jack
do love
Harlow, I don't know.
those. Yeah, when I was first listening to Jack Harlow, like I noticed a lot of his songs was like it would start right away. The hook would start right away. And so I started experimenting with that in my music, having something that can draw the listener in right away.
Can fit well in
And
a radio slot.
yeah, that too. But yeah, I started I started having more fun with music that way. And like with Russ, when he dropped like a song a week, being able to do that. Elijah Kyle also did that. And I do want to do that one day where I can like drop once a week. I try to do that with YouTube, like have at least a video a week and make sure like I have a video for every month. So
But it's also, I guess, or at least for me, it's like what's coming up now wants to be shared now in a way. Or like with the Rust thing, I think one of the big things he like had a lot of tracks, and then in a way it bought him time to then take longer on the next tracks. And then it's like if people were hating on those tracks that were busy coming out, he's like whatever because what I'm making now is so much better. So in a way, it shelters you or like gives you some space, I guess. But then it's also so like freeing to like as soon as you want to like release something, release it now. You know, like how do you even balance that yourself? And it's like it's nice to have time to create a whole album versus like create a short video, boom.
yeah, a lot of my music has been like that recently. Like I'll create it the week of, or if it's like a filthy Franco beat, I'll be working on it that week and then release it like later that week or the next week. But yeah, a lot of my songs too have been ideas I've had and recorded like a year or two back, and then that I brought back. And like now that I know more about mixing and how to make a vocal sound good, I can go back and and polish it up and for release. And so some of these songs I've had for years. So yeah, create something like I said, show up every day, because when you do that, later down the line, you can take that with you and you can reference something you did that day. So nothing really goes to waste. Even if you think like a beat is bad or a song didn't turn out the way you wanted to, if you just give it a little time to breathe and grow, give it the space to do that, and then you come back with like a new mindset after you lived a little life, or you've watched like a good movie or read a good book, it helps you approach things in a different way, form new ideas and a new schema, and then you see that song in a whole different light, and you decide to give it a chance, even if it has flaws, because flaws give you a chance to love yourself and to like cultivate them into strengths, because strengths don't come out of nowhere. They're born through those hard times, through failure, and through feeling like there's no way out, or like when you're close to giving up. That's where turning that into something that can be healthy for you, that can help you on your journey of growth. That's powerful. That's so powerful.
I feel like, or yeah, I feel like everybody could channel that in some way, right? Like maybe not everyone's going to be an artist or a rapper or a singer or whatever these labels are, but it's like everybody can like yeah use some introspection in their life or yeah like if someone's out there, oh, I'm not a rapper, I'm not a singer, I'm not an artist, but like still how could they like yeah, does that make sense? Like there's something even
Yeah,
there in for everybody. It's not that you need to be this or that and these labels and boxes and genres.
yeah. I actually talk about that on one of my songs from my Boy with a Dream mixtape. I say like everyone has like the everyone has the capacity in them to create something truly amazing, whether that be a watercolor painting, a a short poem, a song, a video, an animation project. even, you know, we discover these new mediums, and then, you know, we get captivated, like, oh, I didn't know I could do it like that. I didn't know. It's like when Toy Story first came out, that's like the first 3D animated feature film. Like before that, the industry was dominated by like 2D animated feature films, 2D animation. So being able to do something that, you know, you might not have considered before, that's what makes it so fun and so fulfilling. So no matter what pursuit you have, whether you're getting a degree or a trade school certificate or learning like a new skill, whatever you put into, that's a part of you. And, you know, you don't have to be you don't have to be a certain genre. You don't have to be you don't have to be your inspirations, but you can channel them in a good way toward something different, a new frontier. And that's still art. Art is life, and life is art. So no one can tell you it's not. And if they are, then, you know, they're missing out. You never know what could
Truth.
be art.
Truth. I'm thinking, is there any questions I haven't asked you, or any things that we haven't touched on?
Yeah,
But
I'd love
there's always
to do
more.
future podcasts with you too.
True. Yeah,
Like
definitely. Even to
there's
the
so
point
much
of
to
like,
cover.
exactly, and that's one of my biggest things is like, it's cool how like we can, it's like together we make this, but it's also like, you know what I mean? Like I can have my own YouTube channel, you could have your own YouTube channel, like, but it's funny how it doesn't like it's so beautiful to have a podcast as well. Um, but like exactly like, yeah, there's so much more to share, and that's exciting through music, through videos, through animations. I think, yeah, it's really to stay tuned, and if you want to get to know you, I think through your music is one of the best ways, right?
Yeah, that's my greatest love. And what helps me connect with what helps me still, you know, maintain my passions, that brought me up, like animation and especially video making and editing, being able to do that through music and writing. It's like all interconnected. So when what you're known for and what, you know, people perceive as your main identity, when it can cultivate all these different identities and can still feel very much a part of you, that that's such a blessing. And, you know, sometimes it can take a lifetime to really get into that groove and and be accepting of those parts of yourself.
The never-ending journey of self-acceptance.
Yeah, circle of life.
Cool, but I think that's not the worst point to end it on. Thank you so much for your time, and definitely check out his music. I think that's the next step if you've listened this far. Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I love listening to your podcast episodes too. Shout out to Hyperion the rapper. I love hearing
Thanks.
your conversation with him and welcoming me on this podcast, continuing to give artists and creatives and anybody a platform
And that's like
to
even
share their
exactly what I'm
story.
saying is like to even like challenge you or other people to like start your own podcast and like tell your own story, like, you know, tell other people's stories, and even through collaborating on music, you know, in whatever medium, you know, resonates as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you make it exist, like once you record, no matter what you start on, like an iPhone or, just wherever. I started rapping into my dad's computer just on the external mic. I didn't have a microphone. But
Facts.
when you really get more into it and you fall more in love with it and you invest more into it, that's when, it becomes something you really nurture and care for. So,
Mm,
but yeah, just get it started no matter what, no matter how you do it. And there's
yeah.
this artist Dunya. She started by recording on the voice notes on her iPhone. I know some artists, they recorded just on their Call of Duty headset. So yeah, once you make it exist, no one can take that away from you because you never
Yeah.
know.
What's your excuse
Yeah,
watching this? Create today.
yeah.
Cool.
Even if no one sees it.
Yeah, that's a funny balance in itself, right? Is it, yeah, it's like it's either seen by no one or a lot or some awkward amount in the middle. But it's
Yeah,
like,
I'm always crazy impressed by like artists who will create like 500 songs, and then they just have to pick 12, like the cream of the crop, the best of the best, and then
mm, I think that is
we
definitely the way. And then I think a lot of people don't see
yeah,
that, so they don't understand that. Like even me, I've
yeah,
done like so many freestyles, but I'll just also always see it as like practice, practice, practice. Like exactly, and then but it's all just a skill. It's all just pulling the skills, and like it's all just putting your reps in. I feel like, yeah,
yeah. I'm happy I get to see you live in your passions and continuing to like post those freestyles and like motivation videos. It's amazing.
facts.
So major
Thank you.
props on all you're doing too.
Yeah, it's so hard to end a podcast. Like we can end it, and we can also talk a bit
I know
more after
the
too.
epilogue. But yeah,
If
thank you
this
so
was
much for your
Mr.
time,
Beast, he would
Felix.
be roasting the retention right now.
I know, but this is a moment in time right here.
That's
So
true. That's true. There's also no rush in it as well. All
all right, I
right.
do
Bye,
appreciate your time,
podcast.
Felix. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Cool.
I love all of you.
Peace, love, and positivity. What three words you
Hmm.
got for us?
Oh, 3 words. I like that. I would say go with go with grace. Yeah, no matter what you do in your every interaction, whatever you do, go with grace.
Beautiful.